Alrighty, folks, this is normally the hub call, but we've got a lot of parents out taking their kids to school, their young kids to school. So we've got Carlos with me, and Carlos wanted to ask me some questions. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. Carlos is obviously somebody I work with in the hub, somebody that does a lot of work for me in Fresno, but he's also a consumer of my content. So we're going to go deeper on some subjects or topics that he may have some questions. Carlos, thanks for being here, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. For me, it's an honor to be here. I'm excited to be here. And, I'll tell you this, Mike, since I started the first video till now, I feel like I've grown in my knowledge about the economy and my knowledge about as a consumer and not just of the media or of the information, but as just in general going at the store and buying. And it's beautiful to see things differently in a different lens. And I thank God for you to putting out that information. Yeah.
I
And so
appreciate that.
yeah. And so I guess one of the things is even this past weekend, you put a video out there about the potential things that could happen if some certain policies come in. I was trying to follow up with another video with Lance about it. And even listening to the uneducated economists. So all this seems kind of be correlate together. And
Right.
so I guess for me as let's say, as a flipper, of homes, like you mentioned something about it may not be a good thing to be flipping. Can you
Right.
elaborate? Is that something that I have to be concerned today, or is something that maybe 6 months from now, you know?
Yeah. So when you think about, being a flipper with this Kamala Harris plan
Hmm.
is if, and again, these are all ifs, right?
Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
playing, 3D
Right.
chess now or whatnot.
Yeah.
But if a policy like what was proposed goes through, and we really do start building 750,000 more homes than we are currently today,
Hmm.
that will break the supply chain, right?
Okay.
Our supply chains are generally speaking rather tight. There is some slack in the supply chains for maintenance and some things, but we saw what happened last time, right? Last
Hmm.
time during the pandemic when we unleashed demand, it overwhelmed the supply chain.
Right.
And we saw lumber skyrocket. When I mean, you and I were talking about projects you were doing for me,
Hmm.
and I remember one time we were working on a house, and the window we needed was like 4 months out.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
Carlos, go find a window on the shelf and rebuild the window.
Right.
Right? It was like, I'm not going
A
to wait
no-brainer.
for this.
Hmm.
It's like just rebuild. So it. I mean, again, if something like this got approved and suddenly we were building 750,000 more homes,
Hmm.
stuff would get scarce.
Right.
We would have to think ahead. Yeah, I think flippers would have to be very careful.
Hmm.
Um, and it's more about the supply when
Okay.
because flipping in general, it might be a good time because it'll be very inflationary, right?
Right.
Prices could run, but if you're doing a
Hmm.
kitchen remodel and a bath gut,
Hmm.
you have lots of components
Correct.
that could be out of stock and could be out of stock
Yeah.
for meaningful time. So I
Hmm.
would one of the things that you and I did, right? We've done, I don't
Hmm.
know, 10, 12, 15 flips together. Is
Hmm.
I'm very much the same bill of material, right? It's always the same
Hmm.
flooring, it's always the same
Correct.
paint. So
Yep.
something I would do if I was an active flipper is I might go store up on things that I need.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
that would be something I would
Yeah.
probably do. And then again,
But
when you do the window thing, you just you
mhm,
just you just you have to change. It's like, okay, that window's out of stock. Let's
mhm,
just go get a window that is there and we'll
correct.
we'll reframe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of another project Martha and I did, and yeah, we had ordered in November of 1 year, and then we were in March, and we're like, what do we do? And
Where's the
we had
window?
to, yeah. So where's the window? And so, um, that is concerning, but at the same time, you're right. Maybe this would be an opportunity to buy now. But if you have the storage for it, right, to store
Yeah.
everything and but
Yeah.
one of the things I mentioned to you before getting on the call was that as an investor, you should be able to see this in a different lens, right? If lumber is going up, then there has to be another material we can use to
Mhm.
build. And one of the things I was looking into is all these foam bricks or foam blocks they're
Yep.
using to build houses faster. And I was telling you maybe as an investor, invest in stuff like that, in new technology, and
Yeah.
new yeah. And so um I guess the next question I would have is what can we and not besides being a flipper, but just a consumer itself. You know, I'm a dad too. You know,
Right.
and as a dad, you know, I'm looking for deals and ways to save money. What would you suggest we should be planning now, if that's something that we can see that maybe after November when it's decided who's going to run the country, um, or is it something I shouldn't even sweat it and just keep doing what I'm doing?
There you go. There you go. Well, let's do me a favor. Let's welcome Matt to the show. Matt, how you
Oh,
doing, buddy?
cool.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys. I had a lesson here this morning. You don't ever assume. Last week when we talked, Mike, you're like, next couple weeks I'm gone. I'm on my 8:30 call, and I was like, hey, we can run over, guys. My buddy Zubri's out of town.
I leave tomorrow. I leave tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. See, so that's where assumptions. Don't make assumptions in real estate, in relationships, in anything. Assumptions are bad.
Yep.
I look at my email and I see the Zoom link. I'm like, well, he's still around.
Yep. All right, we're gonna get Ty in here, and don't forget, Carlos, I will get back to you.
No worries.
So Matt, we're just doing some economic 101 kind of talk about all this stuff going on. Hey Ty, thank you for joining, buddy. You're out at school with your son.
I love it. Yeah, we just did the God Bless America and Pledge Allegiance and the Christian flag, and yeah, it's great. So and today's my birthday, so I'm in an extra great mood.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy
Finally,
birthday, Ty.
finally 21. You could go have a drink.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, guys, what we're doing here is doing something a little different. We're just talking Econ 101. We're talking about, you know, the Kamala Harris plan for housing. We're talking about what to do in this buyer's market. Carlos has a series of questions, so we'll just keep riffing on this. So what Carlos asked Ty and Matt right before you joined is, hey, as a dad, as a father, what should I be doing, you know, now getting ready for opportunities next year? Should I be concerned about the presidential election? All of that. So that's kind of where we were in the discussion. What I would tell you, Carlos, and really any dad, any mom for that matter, is generally speaking, you want to operate in a buyer's market. Most of us have never experienced a true buyer's market. Unless you're as old and seasoned as Ty and I, which is 20 years plus, you really haven't experienced a buyer's market. I believe we are in buyer's market right now. I believe, Carlos, to your question specifically, I believe there are lots of moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and cousins that are acting like it's too hard. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm pissed. So what does that mean? That means demand is being artificially held back. However, we operate in a world where sometimes people have to sell. Death, divorce, tired landlord, whatever. Lots and lots of reasons you have to sell. You may not want to sell now because it's a bad time, but damn it, life happens and you have to sell. So what I would be telling you, and I'm actually doing, is I'm getting uber aggressive. I am writing disrespectful offers. I am looking at days on market. I think Casey from Brick by Brick gave us the perfect example last week. She found a new market, slightly different than she looked at. It's an A neighborhood. She doesn't typically shop there. She found a house that was initially listed at $249 that would have sold like hotcakes 3 months ago, sat on the market 30 days. The owners had to sell because they were in contract somewhere else. They whacked the price 20 grand to 30 grand to 219, 229. Let's call it 229. Yeah, 229. And she wrote up an offer at 204. She got it for 202 after some inspections.
Wow.
We're talking 25% off, folks. Now's the time. Some people have to sell. Now, most people hearing this will try to do it 1 or 2 times and go, Michael, it doesn't work. Hey, idiot. It takes 20 or 25 times. Stop whining, stop complaining, get off your ass and do the work. This is the time. So, Carlos, what I would tell you as a friend, what I would tell anyone is go get your shopping list and whack the prices 10 or 15%. Because your job, you and I don't have unlimited money. You and I don't have Ty money. Ty's got legendary money. So we have to go shopping discriminately. I want to get that one super home run. and I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to go get it. So that's the attitude you should have. What do you think, Carlos?
And Ty's words, I love it. I love it. It's I love it. It's a great insight, great information. I think that it is something that I think, because when I talk about it with other people, they're like, oh, they're always with their head down. But when I come into these calls and when I hear you guys talk and I follow you guys, you know, it's a different mind shift. It's a different mindset, and I really grasp this, and I want to put it to work.
You have just hit on something that I want you to remember the rest of your life. I want you to tell your kids. I want you to tell your wife, Martha, when we are out interacting in the world and most people are down and doomy and nervous and scared, you should go back and get in your family and get excited.
Yep.
I speak at events because, yes, I like the show. I like to help, but I want to know what the audience is thinking.
Right.
And when the audience is uber, like making money is easy, I am going the other direction. And when they're scared and nervous, again, I'm going the other direction. So continue to interact with the public, but just have that mental fortitude.
Yeah.
To say, hey, Martha, I talked to 20 people today and they're all scared. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's the opportunity. Yep.
There you go. Do that the rest of your life and you will be wildly successful. Ty, I know you're driving. What do you think of all that?
No, I absolutely love it. And the only other thing I would say is that seller finance, and that, you know, even on deals, if somebody was said, well, you know, you're talking about 10 or 15 or 20% off as an example on a price. But the other scenario would be, okay, I'll pay you your price, but let's do a very low down payment and, you know, very low interest, 0 interest, 2, 3, 4% interest, something like that. And, you know, a really, really low payment, a monthly payment where you can create cash flow from day one. So I think that's the other alternative. Let the seller pick the price, but then very low down, no down, and then very, you know, reasonable, fair monthly payment, but that allows you to cash flow, you know, $1,500 on a $1,500 payment where, you know, maybe rents are 22 or 25 or 2,300 or something like that.
Right.
Something like that. Just an idea.
Love that. I totally agree. And Ty's going to be doing a school session Sunday morning coming up just for our school members. It's time to get in there. He has a 6-hour masterclass on creative financing. Go watch that. Get ready for the Q&A this Sunday. I think it's 8:30 or 8 or something like that. Nope, he'll tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7:30 a.m.
Dude, he's going early. 7:30.
Yeah, 7:30 Pacific time, and then I'll go for 60, 90 minutes. I hope it's standing room only. I would say for people in the school, anything, questions about flips, underwriting, creative financing, seller carries, subject to, anything, wraparound mortgages, buying your first deal, anything. I would love everybody to come and bring lots of questions. So definitely plan to be there, Carlos.
Definitely. I also watched all the videos on the school about seller financing. It was great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Mr. Matt, the mortgage guy, what's going on in your world? Refi's up 118% last week. I'm assuming that trend.
People are getting excited. So I think it ties in great to what you're talking about, where if we've got a buyer's market where stuff is sitting on the market for a little bit longer, don't expect this window to forever be open. It will close.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
This morning we looked at a chart and we looked at inventory and how it bottomed out in 2022. If you look across a lot of different markets, summer of 22 might have been peak pricing. You know why it was peak pricing? So there's not a lot for sale. People are going out there and they're offering 50, 60, 100,000 above ask. So as rates come down and demand comes back, inventory gets eaten up. We've said this different ways at different times, but eventually people are going to get it. You don't want to look up in a year, and the people that are scared now are going to be excited when it's 5.99, but also are all their friends. And they're all going to be in the real estate market. They're all going to be competing for the same houses. So when they're scared because the interest rates are high or whatever, realize that that's opportunity. The other thing I wanted to point out too, Mike, was you talked about buyer's markets. A lot of us haven't really experienced it. The last buyer's market I remember in 2000, call it 9, 10, 11, The thing that was different from my side of things was, you couldn't get financing. Nobody was lending money. So
Yeah.
if you've got stuff sitting in the market for 30, 45, or 60 days, be excited that lending isn't as easy as it was in 2006, but it's still available, right? They're still going to loan
it's
you.
not 2010 levels. Yeah. Where banks are like, no, I'm not in.
So banks
I'm
are
not
still
doing that
lending
level.
you money. There's going to be sellers like you talked about that, it's still happening. We've got a really cool success story. I don't want to share too many details with somebody's private deal, but I got a text, Mike, that said Zuber would be proud, right? Sat on the market well below list price with a seller concession. And here's the good news, guys. You get locked into a purchase, the seller can't cancel on you. Rates came down. We floated down his rate. If in this recent rate decrease, buyers get excited environment, this seller would have found a buyer higher than what we're in contract at. 100% guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
When people were scared and rates were high, he got a great deal. This isn't the mortgage he's going to stay in for 30 years, but he's going to keep the real estate for 30 years. And he got it at a great price with seller concessions. So be excited that it's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Zuber would be proud. I love getting those texts. And another one. And another one. I love those. I love those. I love to send those cards out. I guess the other thing we should all talk about here, because we're all in the industry at least a little bit, it certainly affects Ty the most, is the NAR settlement just went into effect. I think it went into effect Saturday, which meant Sunday open houses are different. I don't know. We'll go to Ty first. Have you heard anything on that yet?
Mass confusion.
Exactly.
And I want to illustrate, this is very, very important that, the way I understand it, the DOJ has a major issue with NAR themselves as an industry collective, and that price fixing and all of that. I think that's the major beef with the law and all of that. This was a civil lawsuit. And the thing I want to really emphasize, especially to the realtor, investor, agent hybrids, or people that are real estate professionals, all of these things are trade practices. There's a few states have adopted civil code and said, okay, legislative, like their state adopted, but there actually isn't. None of this is, to my understanding, depends on where you're at jurisdiction wise, but none of it is actually law. A lot of it is just rules that are going into place that are finable. And I've heard of people getting fines for having the wrong information in MLS. The multiple listing services, which kind of oversee listings and the marketplace, if you will. That's, I think, where people have to be really cautious and whatnot, is because you could break a rule, you could get a fine with that. Let me just translate into this language. This, again, is a huge, huge opportunity because it's disruption and there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace. Agents and brokers, there's so much misinformation. It's the messy middle, as our friend Leo Prahara says. He's the CEO of eXp Realty. It's just messy right now. So for one real at a time community, this is an advantage, again, to go out there and be incredibly active in this time of confusion.
I love that. I love that. Well, let's wrap up this call, guys. Got lots of stuff going on. Matt, the mortgage guy, if somebody wanted to reach out, talk about a refi, talk about, getting an outstanding deal, how would they do that?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. We're licensed in 48 states. We're happy to help, whether it's pre-approved and purchasing something, whether it's talking about investing, whether it's a refinance scenario. You're going to get honest feedback, whether it makes sense or not. We're going to tell 8 out of 10 people no. 2 out of 10 people, we're going to say, this is a deal that makes sense, the refinance that I would do today. So start at greatmortgagebroker.com.
There you go. Carlos, does somebody want to reach out to you in Fresno to get some work done, flip done, remodel done, get inspections of stuff? How would they reach out to you and your lovely wife, Martha?
Oh, definitely. Give us a call at 559-681-8431. That's 559-681-8431. Thank you, guys.
You got it. And Ty, you have a special, lot of focus on real estate agents. It is the messy middle. There's lots of confusion. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and just ask questions, maybe vent a little bit, how would they do all of that?
2 things. Number 1, get involved, $20 a month, get involved with school, take it on for a test drive. It'll be the best $20 you've ever spent. I don't think you could even buy much, Starbucks or McDonald's for $20 anymore. So Get involved with school. I'm going to be doing a live class. I'll be doing stuff every month in school with you. So, but this Sunday, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A, number one. Number two is you can email me, ty@tylg.com.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. You guys are amazing. We'll talk in a couple weeks.